painting for work. I was sick last night, so I didn't end up getting on here. But I want to try and do one of these every day because it's a bit of fun. Keeps me accountable. Abstract portraits, see if you can figure out who it is before the end of the painting. Try and do them quick, 10 or 15 minutes. The idea is to not think too much. The key to loose mark making is in not thinking. Alright. Start to mix up some darks. See the dog outside chasing the kangaroos. On the palette I have got cad red, yellow ochre, a cerulean blue today. I actually squeezed them all on the palette last night. I planned to do a quick one last night, but I was feeling pretty sick, and when I put my daughters to bed I fell asleep with them. It's always nice. I woke up at 2 o'clock. I've got on this one a Naples yellow ground, which is okay, but I find now that I've played with lots of different coloured grounds, my favourite one that I've worked with has been green. It looks pretty obnoxious to begin with, but for whatever reason all of the flesh tones and even the abstracty sort of colours that I sort of go in with, for whatever reason the green really makes all the colours pop. I did a series of these for an exhibition of all renowned artists, and for them I used like a sapphire background, really potent colours like magentas and what else? Magenta, sapphire blue, cad yellow. Yeah, it was like an interesting mix of colours, but it seemed to work quite well. Yeah, I wish I could tell you that there's some method to this madness, but I just sort of look at the face and see what I see and then make a mark. I've tried learning traditional ways of doing things, and it's just not how my mind works. So I'm just sort of embracing this. Sometimes these turn out to look like who I want them to look like. Other times they don't, but they are always fun. I wonder if it's starting to appear. If anyone's out there in cyberspace, thanks for joining. If you leave a comment, I'll get back to it after. This is the second time I've done this now. I was making a series of daily vlogs. It was killing my time. They were all actually really boring to watch, but it was good practice for setting up the camera and actually just holding yourself accountable, sort of coming online to do my thing, actually get the confidence to share your work. I had a video the other day that I didn't expect to do anything at all suddenly garner a bit of attention, and lots of people saying nice things, lots of people saying mean things, but even that felt good. I think the nice comments were a good counterbalance to the mean ones, and at the end of the day, if someone's saying mean things, it's not really a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. Is this starting to take shape? It's quite interesting, this primary palette, I might try and mix up a few fleshy sort of tones. Cad Red is super powerful. I don't actually use it that often. I try and avoid the Cad colours. But in many cases, like, with Cad Yellow, there is just no alternative to Cad Yellow. I think Cad Yellow is the only opaque yellow that really sort of exists. If there's another one, I'd like to know. You can get the other yellows and obviously mix them with white, titanium white, to get an opaque sort of finish. But Cad Yellow straight out of the tube is just brilliant. I think the key with abstract portraiture is to suggest things. We've got these big old, how you going ears. Ultimately, you see someone from a long distance and we recognise them. And it's because there are a few landmarks on the face. I couldn't actually tell you which one because I got no idea, but I just know that people seem to be instantly recognisable from a distance. I think that's because of a few, major structural details on the face. Which ones, I couldn't say exactly, but I'm sure that one day I'll watch these back. Actually, I probably won't. I can't be bothered, but I might be able to figure it out. It's kind of nice not knowing, It's like how scientists can tell you exactly why a rainbow looks like a rainbow, but it's much more enjoyable for somebody to just look at it and go, wow, look at that, that's beautiful. So maybe I won't ever figure it out. I'm going to try and get some of the shape of the eye. If you're taking guesses, it's a musician, Australian musician. It looks like it's probably too far this way. Who knows? I don't often paint first thing in the morning, but I paint on the palette and thought it might be a nice idea. It's not nice. The problem is I've got to go and do Sparky work today, so do this. It just makes me absolutely not want to do that. It's a big old schnooter on this guy. We start going in with some higher values, some blues, bring it form. What's going on here? There he is. If you are joining in the stream, last time I didn't expect anyone to be there, so I just stayed silent. This time maybe one or two people are actually out there in cyberspace, and if you are, thank you so much for joining. I'll get to any comments at the end, but I'm probably actually just talking to myself. Murphy's Law, Maybe some green. So when I start to get to this point, I'll start thinking in terms of colour and go, what colours aren't there? And I'm really just looking for primaries and secondaries: red, yellow, blue, and then green, purple, and orange. It's hard to mix up an orange with this palette that I've got here because it mixes quite a muted orange, I'd say. Going in. I've got my mind in two places at once. I've got the kids are up and playing out there and the wife, and they're doing the breakfast thing. So I'm sort of half in this, half in that, waiting to hear Dad! But until such point, I might be able to get away with this. It's looking very messy at the moment. Hopefully keep it that way. I love loose mark making. I went through a period with the painting where I think, like most painters, you feel like you've got to suddenly do something that people find impressive, and you go full circle with it. You figure out how to do that and you do it, and then you realise that it's not nearly as fun as the way that you normally paint. And then you just go back to that and realise that your voice as a painter doesn't exist in proving to people that you can do it the same way as everybody else. You can actually just do it however you like, and as long as you're enjoying yourself, you've kind of figured it out. That's it. That's the key to art, I think, is enjoying yourself. That's why you should do it. You shouldn't be for a dime. You shouldn't be to impress people. It should just be because you bloody love it. And that's what art is for me. I'm also at that point where I'm like, oh, I love it so much that it would be nice for it to be the job. But all in good time. What we got going on here? We need a bit more love on that nose, I think. Bring through some of the higher values. I got there a bit crooked. It's kind of a 3/4 shot, this view that I've got of old mate here. I've recently really fallen in love with painting from life. So I'm going to start getting some life models that are happy to come and sit down with me and get painted. Actually, there'd be no shortage in this town that I live in. It's just finding the time, right? Alright, let me step back for a second, see what's going on here. I'm loving how thick all the paint is. I'm loving all the textures. They're all quite muted tones. I don't typically use this palette. That's all good. We got here, a bit of cheek action down here, character down here. Now I might go in with a bit of a brush to get a bit more happening on that eye. Got raw umber. It's funny how the moment you put an eye in, it starts to look like a person, you know. Whether or not it looks like the person it's supposed to be is really neither here nor there, because this is lush. This is far better than the holes that I have to dig at work later on. Where are we going here? There's like a natural inclination to try and make eyes symmetrical, whereas the head is on a real tilt here. There's no symmetry at all. He's looking quite miserable at the moment, isn't he? Poor fella. He's a musician. He hasn't written a song in a while. I've got a book of poetry of his. I used to work in a workshop, electrical workshop, and I'd rock up, and it was like a secret double life, you know. I'd read one of his, I'd just open to a random page, read a poem, and go into work with all the boys. Think about it all day, try and make sense of it, but not tell anyone that that's what was going on. Start getting a bit playful with the knife. At this point of the painting, you can really start to move paint around. I think the other thing with abstract portraiture is that you're really sort of trying to search for the feeling rather than the likeness. I am going in just with white here. Say you shouldn't use straight white in a painting. Be careful of what they say, because you can actually do whatever you like. The beauty of painting. There's a whole bunch of ratios and stuff that are off here. It's definitely not looking like who it's supposed to look like. But it is a fun painting. Light coming in here. He's got a bit of a suit jacket going out here. Collar wrapping around there, and the arm out there. It's all just suggestions, right? This whole colour sort of comes down here, pops up and through, and it goes. Maybe put a bit of colour in his suit, a bit of blue. And I'll get some white for the collar there, and for the collar there. How's he looking? All right. I think I won't use this same palette again. Not exactly this palette. What have we got there? I can't really see him. This one might be a miss, guys, which is good. I would say get some red for some detail, if you can call it that. Yeah. Where else? Down here. Just about done for the day. The beauty of this is as well as I can go to work shortly and come back and move a bit more paint around this afternoon when I get home. So who we are looking at here is Paul Kelly. It doesn't really look like him, does it? Anyway, there we go. I'm off to work. Thanks for hanging out. Art is love. What have we got there? A few comments. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm still getting used to this. This is day 2. I will see you next time. Thanks for hanging out.